Hey, this is Kenny from Kenny's Audiophile Record Reviews. Thank you very much for viewing my channel. Please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. That will help me out. In this video, I thought I'd do something different like in my previous video with my brother-in-law, Bill. I'm going to have a casual conversation with my wife, Carla, my sister-in-law, Karen, my best friend, and my brother-in-law, Bill. And we're going to start it off by asking the ladies their favorite bands of all time, their favorite songs. So you want to get started with that?
Sure, yes. So my favorite all-time band or music group is the Eagles.
The Eagles?
Yes. And my favorite album of all time is Hotel California.
Okay.
So I know that we all listen to different music, and I know music speaks to each one of us in a different way, and the Eagles just, their songs speak with me, and so that's my favorite. How about yours, Karen?
Mine is also the Eagles, Hotel California. But I do like other genres of music. I like some Creedence Clearwater Revival. I like bluegrass music. I like reggae music. And I like country music.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I think, Bill, you mentioned yours in the...
Yeah, I mentioned some of the things that I like. But...
Okay. This is one question I want to ask in my last video to Bill, and you two can answer as well. What do you think is the best era in music history? The best era in music history? I'll start with you, Bill.
Okay.
I want to ask you that in the last video, and I didn't get to do that. So it can span decades, and
Okay.
it can be any length you
Okay.
want of time you want. I have mine, but I'll shoot it
Okay,
first.
within my lifetime, I would say...
No, it doesn't have to be with your lifetime.
Well, that's the only one that I have personal experience with.
Yeah, but thing is, from a historical
Yeah,
point of
okay,
view,
okay, well,
you can.
I'm still going to say the same answer.
Go on.
Okay, which is the pretty much the whole 60s up through early 70s,
Okay.
because it was just a musical renaissance.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's my answer.
Okay, I'm gonna give mine. Mine starts with the late 50s,
Mhm.
mainly early 60s folk era,
Mm-hmm.
and then the American sound of the early 60s with like I said, the great American bands, the great R&B bands during that time, and then it continued with the British invasion, and then in the mid to late 60s with the Motown sound, the Beatles, the Doors, the Stones, all those great iconic songs that you mentioned during your period. Iconic songs like I Love You More Today Than Yesterday by the Spiral Staircase.
Right.
And there's many, many others. And it extends probably to up to where disco started. That's where my golden era ends. So it's like probably maybe 59, 60 to like maybe the mid 70s, where you had the soft rock, soft pop sound of groups like Bread and stuff like that. James Taylor, as you mentioned in my other video. That's my era. So maybe around 1960 to maybe 1975. That does not mean that bands of the late 70s, the 80s, the 90s on were not good. Acts like The Police, Duran Duran, Tears for Fears, and so on, and so REM, so on and so forth, were not good. That's just my preferred period, because as Bill said, to me, that was a golden age, especially the decade of the 60s, maybe starting from 1963 to, the later 60s. So, how about you, Carla?
I think for me, it would be the 60s.
The entire decade of the 60s?
The entire decade of the 60s.
Okay.
I just think there was so much going on at that time, and the music is just amazing during that time. So it would be the 60s for me.
Okay. Yeah, also bands like, I should say bands, acts like the Carpenters. And so they were really amazing, that soft sound of the 70s. And So I wanted to include that. So what about you, Karen?
Karen used to listen to the Carpenters.
I love
I
it.
remember.
I love the Carpenters. I'm a huge Carpenters fan.
I love the Carpenters.
Mhm.
I also like the genre of the Michael Jackson era.
That's more like the, I guess, the 80s, or you talk about the Jackson 5? Or
Jackson 5 and the early
the 80s
Michael Jackson
Thriller
by
and
himself.
stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Mhm.
And
Right here.
I just like all kinds of music. I can get lost in the music.
Yeah.
And
I think I'm the same way, as you know, when we're home on the weekends, what's the first thing I do? Put the music on,
Mhm.
and I'm just listening to music as I go
Mhm.
about my business
Yeah.
in the house all the
Yep.
time, cleaning from morning to
Yeah.
however long it takes. I'm just always listening
Yeah, I
to
explained
music.
in one of my videos, that's how most people listen to music. They're not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
audiophiles who sit in a dedicated spot, a sweet spot in their music room. I think most people turn on the music, they go about house cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
cooking, reading a book, whatever, But I
Right.
don't think most people are even close to being audiophiles. None of you guys buy records or anything, do you?
no,
You know?
just CDs
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times. And my kids on the
Well,
weekends.
we'll occasionally buy CDs at a yard sale or
Yeah.
something.
Mm-hmm.
But sadly, we don't really spend any money that goes back to any artists.
Oh, well, I'm buying secondhand a lot too, so.
Yeah.
So.
But my kids, when they were little and lived at home, and if I was put on music and they were still in bed, they knew it was cleaning day. Because the music, Mama's got the music on, so that means we got to get up and help clean.
I think for me, it's just really relaxing to listen to while I go about
Yes.
my business.
I agree.
I love it when Kenny's in his music room and I am in the house somewhere and he starts playing his music. I just tune in to what he's listening to, and because I know that's what makes him very happy.
Yeah. He's when I'm playing that crazy stuff, you think?
It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. For me, it's because I know it brings you such joy.
Yeah.
And listening to everything in there, and you don't see it, but sometimes I'm just smiling because I know that it's making him happy, to listen to the music on his equipment and stuff. So, like I said, music just touches all of us differently, and we listen to it differently. And for me, I know sitting in your music room where you had me sit there in the middle and listen and point where what's coming from here and what's coming from there and stuff is all great.
Yeah.
But for me, I just love listening to music.
I just wanted her to know the sonic advantages and the sonic joy of listening to music in a music room where you can point to musicians in a three-dimensional space. And I try to demonstrate that to her from time to time, even though she's not interested in it the way I am. But, I honestly think most people don't care about that aspect. I think that's an audiophile thing. But what was your first concert you've been to that you recall?
The first concert I ever went to was Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers.
About what year, what time?
I'm gonna say it was maybe around 82, around 1982.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was your first concert you ever
that
went
was
to?
the first concert, and I took my two older kids to see New Kids on the Block when they came in concert, and I've seen the Eagles, and I've been to several Garth Brooks concerts, and but I love all
I've seen
music
Garth
too.
Brooks. I'm not a country fan. I don't want you to know that, but I've been to like 10 country concerts because all my girlfriends in the past and my wife all like country music. So I've been to country concerts. So not my favorite genre, but
I love it.
you gotta compromise. You know what I mean? And you, Karen?
My first concert was Conway Twitty when I was 13 years old.
Conway Twitty?
Yes, he's a country and western singer.
You know what? I saw he's that guy. I forgot his name. He sang "King of the Road."
Roger Miller.
Roger Miller.
Yes.
Me and my family, again in Las Vegas, me and my mother and my sister saw Flip Wilson, and Roger Miller was an opening act. So I guess he's somewhat country, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Totally.
but that was not my first concert. But yeah, they actually put on a good show. That was like in mid-70s again.
Mm-hmm.
So, whom are your favorite singers of all time? Let's say female singers.
My favorite thing, I like Whitney Houston. I love Whitney
Yeah,
Houston.
she was on my top, I had a top female list. She did not make my top 10. But I think if she would have progressed in her career, she would have been one of the all-time greats. She just passed away too soon. Go ahead again.
No, I was just going to say, I really love listening to Whitney Houston. She had a great voice. But that's me. How about,
Do you have any more?
Yeah, probably. Many
Wait,
more.
yeah,
We're just going to leave it there with that one because that one's the one that is my all-time favorite.
Karen?
My all-time favorite, I have to say, is Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton? Why is that?
Because she sings from True to Life. She does.
That's true.
Almost every song that she does, it has meaning. It was part of her life growing up, her struggles.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that.
Yeah. She has one song I like. It was called, Jolene or something?
Yeah,
that's true.
That's a fabulous song. That's all I like from her. So, what else you guys like about the joys of music, the joys of listening to music?
I love the way it makes me feel. When I hear a song that touches home with me for whatever reason, for whatever is going on in my life at that time. When I have the TV on and I'm listening to the music through there, and I'm listening to the 60s music, and something will just reach out and it'll just touch me in a way. Like growing up, my mom and dad used to play this song, Happy Birthday Darling,
Yes.
for our birthdays. So every time I hear that song, it'll automatically make me cry. It'll just touch me because it brings back those memories, of growing through the years. And there's just so many songs that, maybe you were going through a struggle in your life and this song helped boost you and get you through that period of time in your life. So I think when I listen to music, that's what I mean when I say the music, when it speaks to you, speaks to your heart.
Yeah. And Karen?
Go Rest High on That Mountain is one of my all-time favorites because when I lost my mom, that song got me through because I knew she wasn't struggling anymore, that she was finally home. She was with a daughter she never met. And it just still touches me to this day when I hear that song. It will bring tears to my eyes. And I think that's the one that touches my soul.
Pretty Paper.
Yes, Daddy.
Yeah, my dad always played that for us at Christmas time. And Kenny knows, he's seen me go through that one year that, remember we were going to Bubby's house and we sat outside in the parking lot at the market. That song, I was waiting all season for that song to come on, and I never heard it. And we happened to be at the market getting ready to get out, and that song came on. And I was like, no, stop, wait. We can't get out. I have to finish listening to this song, because that was a part of our childhood and who we, what we knew,
We have like a minute. I just want to ask this final question to all you guys. Why do you have very little interest in listening to music in the most grand form on a really good stereo setup? And I'm gonna start with you. I think we have maybe 20 seconds to you and 20 seconds to you.
For me, it doesn't have to be on high-end stereo equipment. It just has to sound good to me.
Okay.
It just has to be pleasant to my ears, just something that I want to hear, whether it's, comes from real expensive equipment or not.
Okay. Karen?
And I have an Onkyo stereo system at home.
Okay.
Which in its day was a very high-end stereo system. Okay. And I can be happy listening to my music on that, or I can listen to it on my little portable CD player in my car, and I'm just as happy.
Okay. We're going to end it at that. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Thank you, Carla, Karen, Bill. Thank you for viewing. God bless. Love and peace to all.